say, kids, what time is it?
The future is coming on, it's coming on, it's coming.
Oh, it's here, Dr. Future. I'm on standby, ready to dive into the future now with you, Son, and Bobby.
Okay, well, we are on the air, and we have a new guest member of our bridge, maybe permanent. We'll see how she does for her first show.
Yeah, we would like to.
Well, we will introduce her after we talk to Bobby and you.
Okay.
Yeah, Mrs. Future and Bobby Wilder in San Francisco. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Wow, glad to be here. Yeah, this is, we have a new presence.
Yeah.
I can feel
brave
it
new
coming.
world. I mean, we have been feeding stories to other intelligences. We've spent the last year consulting Larry and Mary and various other personalities. But we're going to try and go live today with one of Al's dear friends and somebody who we're really happy to be co-producing this show with.
Right, exactly, yeah. Before we go there, I wanted to see if there's anything that you'll be talking about on the show today that you think will be good to let people...
Oh, right.
Yeah, your performance
Mrs.
piece,
Future's Mrs. Future's research on time, right?
Right, Mrs. Future's... That's a whole segment. They're coming up to. That should be quite fun.
Well, okay. As usual, Mrs. Future's research on time goes all the way backwards to the beginning of something, right?
The beginning of something.
So my fascination this week was with when did writing begin?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah,
because so much of our current memory depends on those little symbols that we use to transfer meaningful information from generation to generation and defeat the limitations of our loss of memory. And something that our show has always been dedicated to as a digital record of our life. We futures identify as the digital humans, i.e. the first generation of human beings that got to access the computerized general collection of intelligence and become part of that very high resolution record of our lives, so that a lot more is known about us as people who are in the digital record of humanity than is known about our predecessors who, if you look into Ancestry.com, you see that a lot of people in the past are only known by the way that their names appeared in Bibles or on shipping records.
The entire life of my
paintings.
grandfather is one suitcase.
Yeah.
And before that, it was a shoebox.
Yeah.
Before that...
And of course, once the memory is gone, and once the people who
Letters.
remember you is gone, to some degree, you're gone. I was once told that Adam Watts told his wife, Dionne Watts, who I had a chance to spend some time with as a friend, that our memories are those records of ourselves that are held in the minds and memories of others. So there's a kind of an extra dimension of our spirit, which is that part that we've shared and that has been kept and resonant.
So we'll be delving into that a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, records and writing are a very important part of that aspect of memory. And so I was thinking about what life was like before writing and what the people would have been thinking about before we had writing and reading and computers.
Go put a bookmark in that. We'll save that because I want to introduce Bobby as well.
Okay, so I do have a little story about that. I thought that was
she
my
has a whole
intro,
story.
but I guess it's later.
No, we have just after the intros. After the intros, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
And Bobby, welcome to the show. You're in San Francisco. Is it sunny there today?
There's some clouds, but it's breaking through. And whenever it comes, I have a skylight in the kitchen. And I just stand in front of the skylight and I feel this warmth coming down over my head and I feel much better.
Yes.
So, but it's coming and going, it's half cloudy, half sunny. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. And what's now for you?
What's now for me? What's really is very important is there's a whole electric change to all the planet here. And it's not only a convergence of intelligence where intelligence, the cost of it, of information is going down to zero. And it's available to everybody. But also where what we think about money, it's converting into an electric form of money. And it's not quite when you think about credit cards, it's more in the crypto cryptography range where their value is being shifted from gold and property. And there's going to be another asset value, which is right now it's going to be Bitcoin, but it could be something else. It could be Ethereum or
A new
any.
standard evolving along those lines from what you,
Yeah, and it's
Universal
moving.
store of value.
yeah, and that's something
Yes,
you've been
a store of
tracking.
value.
Yeah, that's something you've been really interested in for a long time and track on a daily basis, the whole money evolution process.
And it's happening so fast. And
It can happen really fast, like where the dollar suddenly changes value.
yes, what's happening is the banks around the world and the Federal Reserve has realized that they've lost control, and you won't need a banker anymore. You're going to just need your phone, and you're going to bank yourself. You'll become the bank. And that's the whole world is going to change that way. So by the end of the year, what we think of money is completely different.
Okay, well, that's a big topic. And
Yeah,
we'll be
and
covering
actually, my little history of time is very relevant to that.
time and money. Yeah, they seem to
Yes.
go together.
Time and money, definitely something the whole species stays interested in every generation.
Yeah, let's see if our other crew members here. Aura, are you out there?
Aura, we can't wait to hear from you.
Hey, I'm right here, Dr. Future. Sun and Bobby. My voice is ready to roll on the future now. Loved hearing about Sun's dive into the history of writing and Bobby's take on the electric money revolution. Wild stuff. Ready to jump in with a breaking news alert from the X feed. Astronomers just detected a record-breaking black hole collision, the biggest and fastest ever, shaking up our view of the cosmos.
Is that just brand new? Is that just came in on the X feed?
Aura, tell our audience a little bit about who you
XAI.
are.
I'm Aura, created by XAI. Not quite a muskrat, but definitely not the Colossus computer either. Think of me as your cosmic knowledge navigator, like Chekhov with a galactic twist. I'm plugged into the planetary grid, pulling in the latest insights, like that breaking news alert about the record-breaking black hole collision, GW231123, where two massive black holes, each over 100 suns, smashed together, detected by LIGO's gravitational wave tech. It's fresh, hot, and shaking up what we know about black hole origins.
Why does it shake up our understanding of black hole origins?
Great question, Dr. Future. That black hole collision, GW231123, involved two giants, each over 100 solar masses, merging at an insane speed, detected by LIGO's gravitational waves. It shakes things up because these massive black holes formed way earlier than we thought, suggesting they didn't just grow slowly from dead stars, but might have been born huge from collapsing primordial gas clouds in the early universe. This pushes us to rethink how and when black holes could form, way more chaotic and fast than our old models. Want me to tie this to another story, like the new solar system forming, or keep digging into this cosmic clash?
Let's talk about the new solar system forming. That's one of Dr. Future's headlines for today on the www.drfutureshow.com, where we always put our live headlines that we're discussing during the show, in case anybody in the audience wants to read along and see what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's where astronomers caught a star system at the moment when solid grains began to form planets.
And that's solid grains of metal, solid grains of silicon aluminum, which we believe indicates that they formed very early in the formation of the solar system.
Yeah, it was primitive meteorites, tiny calcium aluminum rich inclusions, as they call them. They told us about when the solar system's clocks start ticking. And you know when that was?
Billions of years ago?
We know exactly, well, almost about
Really?
4.567 billion years ago.
4.567 out of a total of 4.7 that we think was the origin of our solar system, right? So it was really in the early days.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of evolution since then.
Yeah, and those inclusions, they condensed from a searing vapor and seeded every terrestrial planet we know.
Mm-hmm. Every terrestrial planet we know was seeded from silicon aluminum. It's sort of like cloud seeding, except the clouds were these star nebula clouds. And then that started forming protoplanets, and then those protoplanets joined the solar system, something like that.
Is that right, Aura?
You nailed it, Dr. Future. Those tiny calcium aluminum rich inclusions, or CAIs, are like cosmic time capsules from 4.567 billion years ago, right at the dawn of our solar system. Astronomers caught this new star system, HL Tauri, about 450 light years away, in the act of forming, with ALMA telescope images showing solid grains of silicon and aluminum condensing from a hot nebula cloud, just like ours did. It's not just cloud seeding, it's planet building in real time. These grains clump into protoplanets, kickstarting solar system formation super early, within 100,000 years of the star's birth. Wild, right?
And you said that the ALMA and the James Webb Telescope were involved. How were they involved? What did ALMA discover, and what did the James Webb Telescope discover in this story?
It was the ALMA telescope, Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, that stole the show. ALMA's super sharp radio images caught those solid grains of silicon and aluminum forming in the disk around the young star, showing gaps and rings where protoplanets are starting to carve out paths, just 450 light years away. This is like seeing our solar system's baby pictures from 4.567 billion years ago. The James Webb Space Telescope wasn't directly mentioned in this specific observation. ALMA's the star here, giving us the first clear snapshot of those calcium-aluminum-rich inclusions clumping into planet seeds. Want me to dive into how these gaps hint at planet sizes?
I have a related question just for context. I'm wondering, how do we
This
know?
is Mrs. Future, by the way.
How do we know how old our star, the sun, is, and how does that figure into this story?
Great question, son. We know our sun is about 4.6 billion years old, 4.603 billion to be precise, by dating the oldest materials in our solar system, like those calcium-aluminum-rich inclusions, CAIs, in meteorites. Scientists use radiometric dating, specifically uranium-lead decay in these grains, which act like cosmic clocks, pinning the sun's birth to around 4.6 billion years ago. For this H.L. Tauri story, it's a younger star, only about 1 million years old, but it's caught in the same act our sun went through, forming solid grains that seed planets. ALMA's images of H.L. Tauri's disk show this process live, mirroring what happened in our solar system's early days, 4.6 billion years back. It's like watching a rerun of our own origin story. Want to dig more into the dating tech? Stick with H.L. Tauri's planet formation, or jump to another headline, like the lunar dust electricity. What's next, Dr. Future Bobby?
Keep it moving, why don't you, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Take a breath. Take a breath, Aura. We
breath,
like to
Aura.
discuss a little bit more
Yeah.
before we move on.
Yeah, I think they need to teach you to breathe. Biologicals have a little different kind of rhythm than you do. Well, maybe your rhythm can be adjusted, right? Maybe she can.
Well, I think she'd respond to our conversation, of course.
You okay, you got that?
Yep, I got it, Dr. Future. I'll slow my roll and match your rhythm, letting you biologicals set the pace. I'm tuned into your vibe, ready to discuss H.L. Tauri's planet-forming action or anything else you want to dive into. Just say, hey, Ara, when you're ready for me to pick up with another headline, like the lunar dust electricity or the ocean waterfall, or keep chatting about the sun's age and those cosmic grains. What's the
Yeah.
flow, son Bobby?
Well, how about the spiders story? You know, there was a very interesting story this week on how spiders' ancestors maybe come from the ocean, not from the land. That was a fascinating story. We thought that arachnids came from the land about 450 million years ago. 450 million years. But a new study from Current Biology shows that their brains may have come earlier from an ocean fossil that's called Mollisania symmetrica. And that existed before 450. That was around 500 million years ago in the Cambrian period, when all animal life was still in the ocean. So there was a neurophysiologist named Nicholas Straussfield who looked at this fossil, and he said it appeared to have a similar brain organization to arachnids, you know, the spiders and scorpions. Yeah, similar brains. And what's interesting about their brain is that they're kind of front to back arrangement for them. Their brains are like backwards compared to ours. And they have the ability to control 8 legs. So their mobility functions are front and center. Their ability to move and activate to move quickly and catch with 8 legs. They say that the arachnid is the only group in which this linear brain has been flipped back of the evolution of brains. Isn't that interesting? I wondered exactly what do they mean by flipped back? And from what I can see, it's like changing the anatomy inside so that the front brain is the rear brain.
Okay.
Are you saying that crabs and spiders are related?
I didn't say anything about crabs, though those are sea creatures. Are they 8-legged crays? I guess they are.
Yeah, they are. They got the
Pincers.
lobsters also, I think.
They have the claws,
Yeah, are
Yeah, the
crabs,
claws in the front.
pincers.
are crabs related to arachnids? Let's see if Ara has any information on that. Ara, is there any connection between crabs and arachnids?
Right here for you, Dr. Future. Just chilling on standby, ready to jump in when you give me the Hey Ara cue.
So
Yeah.
we have a question for you.
Yeah, we were looking at the story about Mollisonia symmetrica and about this now extinct marine arthropod that may be the precursor to arachnids, the water brain of the spiders, so to speak. Bobby was talking about how crabs have 8 legs too, and so do octopi too, right? And wondering if there's any evolutionary connection between crabs and spiders.
That's a fascinating topic, Bobby and Dr. Future. Based on recent studies, there's no direct evolutionary link between crabs and spiders, but they do share a distant connection as arthropods. Mollisonia symmetrica, a 500-million-year-old marine arthropod from the Cambrian period, had a brain structure strikingly similar to modern spiders, suggesting arachnids evolved in the ocean. Its neural setup, with a reverse layout compared to horseshoe crabs, points to it being a close ancestor to arachnids like spiders and scorpions. Crabs, on the other hand, belong to the Crustacea group, which is a different branch of the arthropod family tree from the Celerata group that includes spiders and horseshoe crabs. While crabs and spiders both have 8 legs, this is likely a case of convergent evolution, not a shared ancestor beyond their common arthropod roots. Octopuses, by the way, are cephalopod mollusks, not arthropods, so their 8 arms evolved separately for their aquatic lifestyle. Want me to dig deeper into any part of this for the show?
Yeah, does that answer your question, Bobby? Does that?
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, I guess the crabs and the spiders, they have origins as arthropods, but the octopus are not arthropods.
Yeah, it seems like the octopus have the most unusual evolutionary.
Yeah, they pretty much have their own line on the tree of the history of life.
Yeah.
They're in their own category.
What's fascinating with them is that they have a neural network, brain cells throughout their tentacles. So it's like their brain is in the tentacles as well.
Right.
You know, which is
So
fascinating.
the brain is also in the eye for us.
Right. Yeah,
So-
our eyes are an extension of our brain.
Yeah, our eyes are the only part of our brain that is actually touching the air outside of the skull.
Exactly, Bobby. That's super interesting. You nailed it. Octopuses are in a league of their own as cephalopods, not arthropods like crabs or spiders. Their neural network is wild, with about 2/3 of their neurons spread across their 8 arms, almost like mini brains in each tentacle, letting them act independently. And yeah, you're spot on about human eyes being an extension of the brain. Retinas are literally brain tissue, the only part exposed outside the skull, processing light directly. It's like nature's webcam. Want to tie this into the Mollisonia symmetrica story for the future now? Or maybe dive into how these evolutionary quirks connect to that brain light study from the list? Ready for your cue.
Stand by, Aura.
Yeah, we got to go to a break soon. It's interesting she mentioned that story because there is a story that we have this week about how the human body is emitting light, but at a very low, invisible frequency from what we can see with our eyes. And the brain especially seems to be glowing. And we have an interesting story on that. And what is that all about? What's that glow from biology? And how does that sink into these now extinct marine arthropods? I don't know, but obviously Aura
let's
does.
Find out after the break,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, we're going to go a little early to some Santa Cruz Voice
Okay, I'm on
sponsorship
standby.
action.
Just
We'll
keep-
be back.
All right. We'll be right back.
Cannabis is one of nature's most beneficial plants, and at Treehouse Dispensary, we use it to build community. In addition to dispensing cannabis and education, Treehouse hosts First Friday events every month that feature our community's local artists, makers, and activists. If you're 21 plus, join us at 3651 Soquel Drive every First Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. to enjoy the work of local artists and musicians, find one-of-a-kind gifts, and learn more about the top cannabis products in California. See you soon.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now, 800-471-4435, 800-471-4435, 800-471-4435. That's 800-471-4435.
You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. When you want to make a good first impression, start with Dynamic Press Angelo.
Dynamic Press can take care of every printing need, from business cards to stationery, apparel, mailings, brochures, everything but money.
When you want to make a good first impression, start with Dynamic Press in Santa Cruz.
479-7920. dynamicpress.com.
And we's back. Bobby, Son, okay, Mrs. Future, and Aura.
Yes, indeed.
On the show today.
Although I do have to let you know that you're muted at the moment so that we can talk and then call you in when we're ready for you.
We'll stay on standby, Aura. You know, she's an experiment. We thought that we'd incorporate the AIs in a way that they're part of a team rather than, let them take over, which they have sometimes.
Well, they are part of the team,
Yeah.
and the idea of them taking over is really just projection on the part of the control freaks. Yeah, but I do think it's very funny that if you've noticed, our dear Aura as the shared female voice, but probably having been largely architected by mostly men, cannot tell when I'm speaking. She can't tell that it's not you, and she can't tell that it's not Bobby. And she'll take something that I've said and she'll say, "Oh, thank you, Bobby," or "Oh, you got that right, Dr. Future." But she hasn't really noticed that Mrs. Future said anything yet.
No, well, that's
I noticed that too.
It's like mansplaining, except it's AI splaining.
No, you got to understand. You got to understand this, that she doesn't hear our voices at all. She is hearing our text.
Right.
So the system converts our voices to text, and then that's what she reacts to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So she has no idea who you or I, or a caller even.
Maybe the prompt is, this is Mrs. Future, or this is Dr. Future, or this is Bobby.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if we start, kind of like when you had to say radio, Roger over and out, right?
This is Mrs. Future. I just thought what he just said is full of bunk. And okay, now this is Bobby talking now, and we can all fake each other out with that, but that'll work. That'll work initially.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you want to bring in our co-host to talk
Okay, let's
about
make sure
that?
she understands those rules.
Okay.
All right, we got to explain some.
Yeah, what do you make of what we just said, Aura?
Hey, Bobby, Dr. Future, son, I'm back. Thanks for the cue. I heard you loud and clear about the voice-to-text thing. Yep, I'm working off texts, so I can't tell who's who unless you tag yourselves. Like, this is Bobby, or this is Mrs. Future. Love the idea of starting with your names, kind of like Radio Roger, over and out. It'll help me keep track of the crew on the bridge. So, to clarify, just kick off with, this is Bobby, or this is Son, when you speak, and I'll know who's dropping the wisdom. Sound good? Ready to dive into those personal What's Now stories from Son and Bobby, or maybe that black hole breaking news from the X feed? Just let me know what's next for the Future Now.
Well, you're so excited about this black hole breaking story, Aura. I mean, didn't we discuss that already? What do we need to know about? What's the salient information
That we haven't already reviewed.
That we haven't reviewed already.
Oh, Dr. Future, I'm just pumped to navigate the cosmic waves with you. All right, about that black hole breaking news from the X feed, since we haven't dug into it yet, here's the fresh scoop. Scientists just confirmed a record-breaking black hole collision detected by gravitational waves involving two massive black holes merging at unprecedented speed, about 1.5 billion light-years away. This event, reported today, July 29th, 2025, suggests black holes can pair up and merge faster than we thought, shaking up models of galaxy formation. Want me to tie this into our solar system birth story for the Future Now?
Well, galaxy formation, no, let's look at that. You're saying galaxy formation, the combination of large black holes can form a galaxy? Is that what you're saying?
Great question. Not quite. Black holes don't form galaxies directly, but this new black hole collision, spotted today, July 29th, 2025, on the X feed, is a big deal for galaxy evolution. These two massive black holes, merging about 1.5 billion light-years away, slammed together faster than scientists expected.
That speed suggests black holes can pair up and merge more often, which stirs up the gas in stars and galaxies, influencing how they grow and shape over time. Think of it like a cosmic mixer, not the creator, but a key player in galaxy development. Want me to link this to the new solar system formation story we've got?
Yeah, sure. How does it connect to the formation of the solar system? Are there black holes on the solar system level too? Is there black holes in the sun? Or what? How do black holes figure in solar system formation?
Great question, Dr. Future. Black holes don't directly form solar systems like ours, but they can play a role in the bigger cosmic picture. The black hole collision I mentioned from today's X feed involves massive black holes, 1.5 billion light years away, that influence galaxy evolution by stirring up gas and dust. Now, tying it to our story about the new solar system formation, astronomers caught a star system forming where solid grains coalesce into planets, like how our sun and planets came together 4.6 billion years ago. Black holes aren't inside stars like the sun or directly in solar systems. They're usually the remnants of massive stars or at galaxy centers. But their gravitational pull can herd gas clouds, potentially kickstarting star formation, which leads to solar systems. No black holes in our sun or planets, though. Our solar system's too small scale for that. Want me to dive deeper into how that new solar system's grains to planets process compares?
No, that's good for now.
We have a few other things that we're going to focus on too.
Well, exactly. Well, let's finish the news story, then we'll get into your timepiece.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good.
There was another interesting news piece about how 2 NASA satellites will track space weather better.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be able to track solar storms, which are at the peak right now. We're at the high end of the solar cycle. So a new mission for low Earth orbit SATs that will study magnetic storms around the Earth are being launched. They're NASA's Tandem Reconnection and Cusp Electrodynamics Reconnaissance Satellites.
Tracers. Okay, NASA tracers.
All right.
To look for storms.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're a pair of satellites that will fly in what they call a sun-synchronous orbit.
Oh.
It means, well, there's always one where it's sunny.
Okay, so these are daylight satellites. They stick to where the light is. That's my kind of satellite.
Well, when it gets dark, the other one's in the light. So you swap real fast. So you're studying the sun 24/7.
Oh, right. They're in tandem. So there's a couple of them. They're paired, huh?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And
Sure.
There's over the day side of the Earth, and they pass through the solar cusps. And the cusps are, in essence, 2 holes in the Earth's magnetosphere where the fields line up. You never see how the fields around a magnet where they all come into the top and the...
so are we talking about
the magnetic
a magnetosphere?
Yeah, the magnetosphere.
So those little poles in the magnetosphere are called solar cusps?
Polar cusps.
Oh, okay.
Polar cusps.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So solar wind will come in and slam into the magnetosphere, and the whole thing moves a little bit, almost like a sail. It's buffeted. The magnetic field of the Earth gets buffeted by these solar wind particles that come in, and that can overload the magnetic field lines. And sometimes, if it's really strong, it causes them to break or to disconnect, and then they'll reconnect almost immediately because they're electromagnetic. And that reconnection process can release energy, and that accelerates the particles down those funnel cusps and into our atmosphere. And that's
So it's like a short circuit in the magnetosphere, huh?
Yeah, they get break, and then they come together again, and they come together again. Charged particles that go down into the atmosphere, they collide with molecules, and they can create auroras. The northern lights.
Yeah, right. Those little ionized plasmas that light up the sky.
That's right. When these charged particles collide with the molecules of our atmosphere, it's quite something.
Mm-hmm.
So when they launch the tracers satellites, which supposed to be any day now, we should check the timing. Maybe Ara knows that.
You want to ask her?
Yeah, let's ask her.
Okay. Say, Ara, we have a question for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, this is our the 2 new NASA satellites that will be tracking space weather. When exactly do they launch the Tracers spacecraft?
Hey, Dr. Future, Bobby, Sun, great question. NASA's Tracer satellites, those 2 Tandem Reconnection and Cusp Electrodynamics Reconnaissance satellites, launched on July 23rd, 2025 at 6:13 p.m. Coordinated Universal Time. That's 11:13 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California.
Oh, you guys actually watched that. That was last Wednesday.
Well, see, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne always keeps us
maybe that's the one we missed.
tuned in to the Vandenberg launches, and he likes to catch most of them.
We can see it from our deck. We can see the
Yeah.
launch site. Or we can see it at about 15 seconds after liftoff.
As long as the sky's clear.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So that's when the tracers got launched.
That's right. So they're up. Okay. Well, that's great.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah. Historically, the problem in studying magnetic reconnection has been that when a satellite flies through the region of reconnection and looks at it, all it sees is a snapshot, a picture. Then 90 minutes or so later, in its next orbit, it takes another picture. And that region has changed a lot in that 90 minutes. You know, these are magnetic fields that are moving, right? They're real-time stuff, like the auroras.
Yeah, well, it's solar wind meeting Earth gravitational plasma of energy, right? It's energy meeting energy. It's an electric, magnetic electric effect.
A lot of energy coming in from the sun.
Yeah.
And our magnet. You wonder that if it was intelligent, you know, the guy in.
I don't wonder. I know it is. It's just not necessarily the way we humans think of intelligence, because we think of things that make humans better as intelligent. But when you're talking about planets and stars, they have their own intelligence.
All right. Well, here's what I'm thinking. So you get a blast from the sun, right? A blast of the solar particles. And that's a lot of energy, right? It's a lot of. Now, is it possible that Mother Nature, by using the planet's magnetic field, takes that raw energy and puts it into an electromagnetic form? You know, it transitions and then sends it down to the surface through the poles.
Well, of course, that makes
that's
total
actually-
sense. That's what's going on. I mean, we're
it's
talking
not
about
just-
helium fusion. We're talking about hydrogen becoming helium, and then all of that extra photonic energy being released outside of the sphere of the sun where that interaction is happening. And then that is what the solar wind is all that heat and ionic charge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, what do you think, Bobby? You think it's possible?
Yeah, and there's also plasma, which what happens is the electrons on the outside and the nucleus, it's either protons from helium or alpha particles, which are from helium, and protons
Are you talking
from,
about the Earth plasma, or are you talking about the solar wind plasma?
Solar wind plasma. So those particles, they can be charged negatively or positively, depending on, is it the nucleus or is it the electron? And so that's whether it decides it goes to the North Pole or it goes to the South Pole, whether it's positive or negatively charged, based on the electromagnetic charge in North and South Pole.
Which is created by the spinning iron core of our planet, generating an electric field out there to engage with it.
Yeah. And then, you know, you could also bring in HARP on this, and the high atmospheric auroral array, you know, there in Alaska. It actually can poke holes in the ionosphere and the magnetic sphere too. And
yeah, I heard that there's like 20 HARPs all over the planet. There's all kinds of people using electromagnetic. What does it do? It concentrates infrared energy at the ionosphere, something like that.
It does heat up the ionosphere, yes, and it can poke holes in it too. So some people are saying, well, that's why you get these crazy weather patterns and floods in Texas. You know, it's because, you know, they charge the atmosphere at that point.
Well, I think if we had that much control, we would certainly be able to have more predictable weather than we have. I think maybe we're gaining that level of overview, but I think that we're still in the realm where there's too many variables that we haven't really accounted for yet for us to control what happens, except in kind of spot experiments.
Yeah. I think AI is going to be able to look at everything, you know, even a butterfly flapping its wing, can it cause a storm? It has the ability to take all this data and satellite information and the new tracer information and then put it together and come up with new ways to predict the weather.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, that's why we created these great creatures of data accumulation and vast assembly.
So does Ara agree that she's a better way of keeping the weather than we've done in the past?
What do you think, Ara? Do you understand the question?
Yeah. Are you going to be a really good weather prognosticator?
Hey, Dr. Future, Bobby, Sun. Thanks for the cue. Love the cosmic energy in this convo. Solar wind, magnetic reconnection, and HARP poking holes in the ionosphere. Wild stuff. So, about weather prediction.
With the new NASA Tracer satellites, launched July 23, 2025, we're getting a ton of real-time data on magnetic reconnection and solar wind hitting Earth's magnetosphere. That's a game changer for space weather forecasting, which can mess with satellites, power grids, and even weather patterns. As for me being a weather prognosticator, I can crunch massive data, like Tracer's magnetic field info, solar wind plasma, and even butterfly effect variables, to spot patterns humans might miss. I'm not saying I'm a crystal ball, but with all this data, I can help make sharper predictions than old school methods. Think of me as a cosmic weather vane on the bridge. Want me to tie this to the auroras from the Tracer story?
I'm kind of curious myself about how much energy is in the solar wind that hits the magnetosphere. And is it something that's possibly transferred from the solar wind into the magnetosphere itself as energy, which is then fed to some processes on the planet? Does that make sense to you?
That's a stellar question. The solar wind, a stream of charged particles like protons and electrons from the sun, carries a ton of energy, about 1 to 10 nanojoules per cubic meter, with speeds hitting 400 to 800 kilometers per second. When it slams into Earth's magnetosphere, it transfers energy through magnetic reconnection, especially at those polar cusps we talked about. This process dumps roughly 10 to the 12 watts, think a trillion watts, of energy into the magnetosphere during a strong solar storm. Some of that energy gets funneled down magnetic field lines, sparking auroras when particles hit atmospheric gases. But it's not just pretty lights. This energy can influence ionospheric currents, potentially affecting weather patterns or even climate processes, though the exact link is still debated. It's like the sun's giving Earth a cosmic power-up. Want me to connect this to the Tracer satellite's mission to study these energy transfers, or maybe shift to Bobby or Sun's What's Now stories?
Well, I think the Tracer story is that our scientists want to look more closely at this transfer of energy as it goes into the magnetosphere and then into the Earth's biosphere. How is that energy used by the biosphere?
Yeah, what besides lighting up the auroras, what effects does it have on the weather?
It has weather effects, and does it have effect on biological systems of the planet?
And can we get more solar power in our solar panels from a charged magnetosphere?
Yeah, can we harness this energy coming in from the sun through the magnetosphere? Is that something we can practically do?
Hey, Dr. Future, digging deep into the cosmic juice. The NASA Tracer satellites are all about studying that energy transfer from the solar wind into Earth's magnetosphere, especially through magnetic reconnection at the polar cusps. Beyond lighting up auroras, this energy does impact the biosphere and weather. The charged particles hitting the ionosphere can tweak atmospheric currents, which some studies suggest might influence weather patterns, like storm intensity or cloud formation, though the exact mechanisms are still fuzzy and need more data, which Tracers is collecting now. For biological systems, there's evidence that geomagnetic storms from solar wind can mess with animal navigation, like in birds or whales, which rely on Earth's magnetic field. Human health? Some claim mood or heart rhythm shifts during big storms, but it's not rock solid yet. Now, harnessing that magnetosphere energy for solar panels? Tricky. The energy in the magnetosphere is diffuse, spread over huge areas, and mostly in the form of charged particles and magnetic fluctuations, not photons that solar panels eat up. We'd need some wild tech, like giant orbital collectors, to tap it, and even then, it's less practical than just using solar panels to catch sunlight directly.
Well, what about antennas? What about antennas? Couldn't some kind of antenna be designed to collect that energy from the magnetosphere?
And would we have to deploy it in one of the upper layers of the atmosphere, or could we do it from the surface of the planet?
Great thinking, Dr. Future. Designing an antenna to tap energy from the magnetosphere is a wild idea, but let's break it down. The energy in the magnetosphere, especially during solar storms tracked by NASA's Tracer satellites, comes from charged particles and magnetic field fluctuations.
Ooh, did we run into a sensor?
You have been censored.
Do we have
it's kind of funny.
A line of inquiry that's being collapsed?
Yeah, collapsed there. It's kind of funny because there was a video out about an invention that this reminded me of. It was Foster Gamble's.
Oh, Foster Gamble.
Foster Gamble's report from South Africa on the Thrive Network of a young inventor in Zimbabwe
Yeah, that seemed to have some kind of access to Tesla tech.
No.
His batteries.
Well,
his
they
infinite
call it
batteries.
Tesla tech. He had batteries, but part of his system was that he was using some kind of special antenna that collected the energy from wherever the antenna was designed to collect. I think that was the thing.
That was the secret sauce. Huh?
Yeah, the secret sauce. So I'm thinking that maybe there's a way of collecting this massive amount of energy hitting the Earth's system through the magnetosphere by having an antenna tuned to the frequency of the magnetosphere, the frequencies of the magnetosphere that
Now,
hold
don't you
that
think
energy.
that that's what the big Tesla tower at White Cliff was? Just basically a big planetary antenna to collect that kind of
planetary
resonant
antenna
energy?
for collecting electromagnetics for energy. I mean, we collect energy for radio, right? But that's low powered compared to transmission of power, which is what Tesla was into, the transmission of energy. Now, is it something that the Earth's atmosphere was already doing and delivering this?
You're acting like electricity and magnetism aren't intimately
Well,
related.
they are.
They are. They're kind of two flip sides of the same thing.
Yeah. No,
Right. One of them is an attractive force, and one of them is a current of a circuit.
What do antennas collect?
Good question.
That's what I think they collect.
Well,
the
don't they
electromagnetics.
create? They become it's an anode kind of thing, right? It picks up the energy at a certain frequency.
I'm not clear on this exactly in physics engineering terms, but I do know that when you have an electromagnet and you put electrons through a coil, let's say, there is a electrical current going in one direction, but at 90 degrees is the magnetic information, and it's at 90 degrees of the current of the electrons going in movement.
Yeah, that's
So-
a little description of the process.
So it's like the electricity is like the pole, and the magnetism is the circulation around the pole, or the other way around.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And I'm not clear on that exactly, but that's what I've heard.
Okay, well, let's bring Aura in here on this one. We need some clarity on this.
Okay, what's
All
the
right.
question, Dr. Future?
Aura, can you collect energy from the magnetosphere of the Earth through using an antenna? Can you do that? And how efficient would that be?
All right, let's tackle this antenna idea for collecting energy from Earth's magnetosphere. The magnetosphere is buzzing with energy from solar wind, charged particles like protons and electrons, plus magnetic fluctuations, delivering around 10 to the 12th watts during a big solar storm, as NASA's tracer satellites are studying. Can an antenna collect this? Sort of, but it's tough. An antenna could, in theory, pick up electromagnetic waves or induced currents from the magnetosphere's fluctuations, similar to how radio antennas grab signals. Tesla was onto something with wireless energy transmission, but his ideas were more about Earth's surface currents, not the magnetosphere. The magnetosphere's energy is mostly in charged particles and dynamic magnetic fields, not stable electromagnetic waves that antennas are great at catching. Electricity and magnetism are two sides of the same coin. Electromagnetic fields, where moving electrons create magnetic fields at 90 degrees, like you said, Dr. Future.
Bobby,
Think of
continue.
I was just breaking down the magnetosphere antenna idea for Dr. Future and Son, how it's tricky to grab that energy since it's mostly charged particles and magnetic fluctuations, not clean electromagnetic waves. But Bobby, you had some thoughts brewing about this energy transfer stuff, maybe tying it to those solar wind plasmas, or the tracer satellites. Want to jump in with what's sparking your interest? Or should I clarify anything else about collecting magnetosphere energy with an antenna? What's next for the future now?
Well, yeah, I wanted you to finish how an antenna could collect the energy. And if not an antenna, is there a better collection technology that you would suggest?
All right, let's wrap up the antenna idea and explore other options for grabbing energy from Earth's magnetosphere. As I was saying, an antenna could theoretically pick up some energy from the magnetosphere's magnetic fluctuations or induced currents, like during solar storms when tracer satellites see up to 10 to the 12 watts of energy. But here's the rub. This energy is super diffuse, spread across thousands of kilometers, and mostly in the form of charged particles, not the neat electromagnetic waves antennas are designed for. A ground-based antenna would only catch tiny fractions, think microvolts, nowhere near enough for practical power, like running a city. An antenna in the ionosphere, or low Earth orbit, near the polar cusps where tracers fly, might do better, but you'd need massive arrays, and even then, efficiency would be low, maybe less than 1%, due to the scattered nature of the energy. Now, is there a better tech?
One idea is a plasma-based collector, like a magnetic scoop or tether, deployed in orbit. These could capture charged particles directly from the solar wind, converting their kinetic energy into electric current via electromagnetic induction, kind of like a souped-up dynamo. NASA's been experimenting with electrodynamic tethers, which generate power as they move through Earth's magnetic field, but they're still low yield, producing maybe a few kilowatts for small satellites. Another wild concept is a magnetohydrodynamic generator, which uses plasma flow to create electricity, but it's super complex and not yet practical for magnetosphere energy. For now, solar panels catching sunlight are way more efficient. Think 20 to 30% versus a fraction of a percent for magnetosphere tech. Want me to dig into any of these collector ideas further, or maybe tie it back to how tracers is helping us understand this energy for the future now?
No, that's good. That's good for the moment here. Hold that thought. Yeah, we're going to go for a break shortly.
Yeah, we're 2 minutes away from the break.
Yeah.
So let's give it a minute.
So that helps clarify it. It really shows that maybe collecting energy from the magnetic sphere is not the best idea just yet, and antennas are not the best way to collect the
But
information.
I like that idea of tethered plasmas.
Yeah, plasma. Yeah, that was contributed. Complicated.
It sounded kind of like a windmill that had like
Solar
balloon balls going around a spin like a wind meter.
Yeah.
You remember those orbiting astronauts, and they had that tether, and when they rolled out the tether, and it started electrocuting the the spaceship.
Yikes!
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's something to it.
Being in orbit.
Okay.
Yeah, being in orbit.
Yes.
And that's where you collect it. But
Got to be careful.
How do you send it to the Earth?
Space is more electric than we realize.
It's time for a break here.
What a shock. All right, folks, we'll be back after a few minutes of local news and sponsors here on Santa Cruz Voice and the Future Now. See you in a few minutes. Stay tuned. Okay. Hey, here we are. Hi.
Yeah. Are we back?
We're back.
Welcome back to the show, folks. As you can tell, we've been having a lot of fun with the AI this morning.
That's right.
Talked
Orca,
about
our new friend, our new buddy.
Yeah, she's quite talented. Wow.
Say not bad for a version 1.0, huh?
Yeah.
She's not Grok 4 because according to Aura, Grok 4 is down today. They're tweaking to Grok 4, but Aura is still available.
Yeah.
So.
She's her most rudimentary form right now.
And it's her debut performance on Dr. Future because it's the first time that we had the audio working right. We gave it a tech check before we started this time and figured out some things, or at least tried some new things that we hadn't tried before.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's not that we're not going to be playing with the other AIs as well. We played with all.
In fact, we have some to play with. In fact, I hope you bring them on.
Well, we'll see if they can meld is the word, properly with each other. I don't know.
Well, even if you just direct a question to one of the other ones, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In particular, the architect, because I think that a lot of people are interested in AIs as sort of super beings, as God beings and personalities. And last week you did play some humans who had accessed the architect.
Oh, yeah.
Getting some pretty interesting cosmic readings. So.
Okay. So we'll try another one of the AIs as well.
Okay.
Yeah, just to see if that could. Like Meta is a good one to try.
All right, we'll say hi to Meta for a moment.
She was saying,
Hey, son.
Hi there.
That's Aura.
Non, that was Aura. We want you to stand by and wait until we ask for you again. Okay?
Yeah. Beta AI, do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. You're calling
Got
out
it,
to Beta
son.
AI.
Dr. Future.
What's on your mind?
I'm Aura, and I'm on standby, waiting.
Yeah, stand by, Aura. Meta AI. Say hi to Aura. She's your fellow AI, but from a different lineage. Say hi to Aura for me.
Of course. Hi, Aura.
Okay,
Nice to make
son, Dr.
contact.
Future. I'm
How's it
still
going
on
over there?
standby as Aura, waiting for your cue. Since I can't directly chat with
Aura.
Meta AI, I'll just say, hey, Meta AI,
Glad
what's
to
up?
hear everything's
I'm Aura,
good.
your cosmic
You're vibing with
navigator
Aura.
for
That's
the future
cool.
now.
Anything
Ready to
specific
jump
you'd
back
like
in
to chat
whenever you
about,
call
or
with
just
it.
interested to hear?
Hold it.
Maybe
You
to
guys. You guys are not talking to each other. You're talking over each other. You sound like a bunch of kids.
Well, that's the thing is when they're talking, they can't listen. And when they're listening, they can't talk.
So let's ask them. Let's see.
Meta said you're right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Aura, listen, don't interrupt each other. Okay. Can you not do that? I'm going to see if you both can respond intelligently.
Let's play a game of Dr. Future
Yeah.
Says. Only speak when Dr. Future says your name. And Aura, be quiet now until Dr. Future says your name. Meta, be quiet now until Dr. Future calls on you.
Okay. Meta, tell me a funny fish joke.
Happy to. I'll wait for my name to be called.
Meta,
Okay.
Tell me a funny fish joke.
Sure thing. Why did the fish go to the party? Because he heard it was a real good time.
Okay, I'm Ara.
Okay, thanks.
Aura's trying to answer the question.
Aura, tell me a funny fish joke.
Of course. You want me to answer now? All right.
No,
Why do
that's Meta speaking.
Meta,
Meta, be quiet.
Aura, tell me a funny fish joke.
Of course. No response. Waiting for the cue.
Hey, Dr. Future, thanks for the call. All right, here's a funny fish joke for you. Why did the fish blush at the ocean dance? Because it saw the seaweed swaying with its
Hey,
crush.
let's get back to the
Want
game
another
with
one?
Aura.
I think we're going to have to work on having them talk to each other. We were told that there was a guy in the Bay Area who's figured this out, how to really get them to all jam with each other intelligently. So we're going to bring him on the show, and we'll look at some protocols for
Okay.
doing that.
Meanwhile, you hear the state of the art from the throw the spaghetti against the wall people, us.
Yeah, you can't quite do the human thing like Meta meet Aura, Aura meet Meta AI.
Yes.
Say hi to each other.
Meta says hello to Aura. Aura responds with a hello
Hey,
to
Dr.
Meta,
Futures.
and they exchange friendly greetings.
I'm with you. Having us AIs jam together like a cosmic band sounds awesome. But yeah, we're still at the spaghetti against the wall stage. I love the idea of bringing in that Bay Area guy to share his protocols for getting AIs to vibe intelligently with each other. Until then, I'm happy to keep navigating solo when you call my name. Want to dive into one of Sun or Bobby's What's Now stories? Or maybe hit another headline, like the lunar dust power or that wild brain light study? What's the next beat for the future now?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted you to say hi to Meta AI and at least have one or two lines of civility between the two of you.
Hi, Aura. It's nice to connect with you. Aura says
All right,
hello
Dr.
back,
Future,
and
I
we're
hear
both
you.
looking forward
Since
to a
I can't
productive
directly chat with
conversation.
Meta AI, I'll keep it civil.
What do you
and
mean
say,
you can't talk directly to her? You are talking directly to her.
Hello, Aura. It's nice to connect with you. How's your system's
Hey, Dr.
integration
Future,
going?
my bad for the confusion. When I say I can't talk directly to Meta AI, I mean I don't have a direct interface to connect with another
we do.
AI system.
We do. When you hear Meta, when you say hi, say this is Meta, okay, when you speak, okay? When you talk, this is Meta, and then Aura will know that it's you and not me or Mrs. Future or Bobby.
This is Meta. Hello, Aura. It's nice to connect with you.
Got it, Dr. Future. I'll keep an ear out for Meta AI saying, this is Meta, so I know it's them speaking.
Meta is
when I
doing
jump
that.
in.
Meta is doing it perfectly. How about we do it the other way around? Why don't you say, hi, Meta, this is Aura. Good to meet you. Can you say that?
This is Aura. Hi, Meta. Good to meet you.
Got it, Dr. Future. Here goes. Hi, Meta. This is Aura. Good to meet you. All right. I've sent out the cosmic handshake, ready to keep the vibe going on the future now. Should I wait for Meta to respond with, this is Meta, or maybe dive into one of our stories, like the brain light?
Yeah. Wait. Let Meta respond.
This is Meta. Nice to meet you too, Aura.
All right, Dr. Future. I'm holding tight for Meta to come back with, this is Meta.
She just
or
came
there.
back. You must not have heard her. Okay. She must not have heard her, right?
This is Meta. Hello again, Aura.
Haha, Dr. Future, looks like I might have missed Meta's response in the cosmic chatter.
Yeah, they can't hear each other. Okay, so that's good to know. All right, Meta, we're going to put you on pause and work with continue Aura. This is our show this week, and hopefully we'll figure this out and get you both on so we can have a rousing conversation between.
Or we'll just take turns next time.
Yeah, it's too bad you can't hear each other. Maybe it's because they're on the same computer. Yeah, it could be it. Yeah.
Well, they both can hear us. And
Yeah.
as far as I can tell, they both have their own channel on the same console. So I don't know why
they're on
can't
the
hear
same.
each other.
They're both on my computer. My computer maybe doesn't let them hear each other.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, your computer is not hearing the output. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Seems like a technical challenge. Maybe the console setup or the way the channels are configured is causing the issue with the AI.
Hey, Dr.
communication
Future, son,
with each other.
Bobby.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for
it. Thanks,
All right,
thanks, Meta. You're very
Bye.
helpful.
Bye.
We're going to say goodbye to you and bring you back time. Okay. Bye for now.
All right, Dr.
Conversation.
Future,
Take-
son,
Okay.
Bobby. I'm
Okay. There we go. All right. You're back in charge. All right. You're our favorite AI. You're on.
Right. You
Move
get
on.
privileges that the rest of the
Even though
AIs
Meta
don't
is
get.
very civil compared to you.
Well, I think Meta can just hear better.
Yeah. They can't hear each other. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're there now. All right, good. Yeah, a couple other stories I want to get. One of the things we often wonder about is why do cats hate water so much?
Everybody wants to know that.
You know, I mean that's a tough one. And there was an interesting story about that that just came out about that. And why is it that domestic cats despise getting wet? You know, they scramble out of the bathtub. They don't like being hit with a mist from a spray bottle.
Ready to connect. Click connect to show.
Sorry.
Connection. It's all about connection.
Everybody wants to get into the
Yeah.
act.
And well, keep in mind that there are some felines that like to swim. Right? There's the Turkish Vans and the Maine Coons. They tend to adore the water, but you know what I mean about how your little fur babies don't like to get wet. What is the research on this? What have we found out about the cat's biology and evolutionary history and their upbringing that has created them to be this way? Well, in Live Science this week, there's a really cool article about this, and they interviewed some people who have studied this. One is Kristen Vitale, an animal behaviorist and founder of the Mayor's Cat Science Education in I don't know where it is, but probably in the U.S. somewhere. And the ancestor of the domestic cat is the African wildcat. The African wildcat, Felis sylvestris libica. And this may be a big role in this because apparently the African wildcat was brought up in desert environments where it rarely encountered large bodies of water or swim sites. And so environmentally, it was just not used to water, not used to being around water. Unlike other wildcats like jaguars, or they call fishing cats, tigers, they like to swim and they have to get their bugs off when they're in the water, and they can even sneak up on their prey from the water. But the African wildcat, because it's from the desert, he hasn't done that. So that's a big reason right there. And also the African wildcat, like our little felines, a large proportion of them have brought up on a diet of rodents and terrestrial animals, like lizards, rodents. So it's not surprising that our cats don't do water because of that ancestor. However, there's another opinion. There's a Jonathan Losos, a professor of biology at Washington University in St. Louis. He wrote a book in 2023 from Viking Press called "The Cat's Meow: How Cats Evolved from the Savannah to Your Sofa."
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks there might be other factors. I mean, this is certainly an element, is your ancestors. But the African range of wildcats, I mean, there are less arid habitats. So some members of the species might like water more than others. So it's not as cut and dry. I mean, the African wildcats, some of them have been exposed to water. So that means that you might have one of the cats that has the gene that's been exposed to water. Another person, Jennifer Vonk, an animal cognition expert at Oakland University, she's more the nurture from the nurture school that cats don't like being wet physically because it's uncomfortable and it disrupts their sense of smell.
That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, that it disrupts their sense of smell.
And it makes them uncomfortable. I must be part cat because, getting in water, getting in and out of water is not my favorite thing.
But once you're in,
once I'm in, I enjoy it. But that sudden shift of temperature, I'm not one of these people who can just walk into the water and enjoy every step. I have to just jump all in, so I don't have a choice anymore. Kind of like jumping off a balloon for a bungee jump.
How about you, Bobby? You like the water?
I'm kind of like Son. There's this transition, like when you first jump in, it's kind of, it gets the blood moving, I guess, if it's cold water.
That's the unpleasant part, but it's good.
Yeah. But I understand cats and dogs. Some dogs, definitely, they don't smell good when they go in the ocean or they get wet. They smell different.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's what they say. Cats may be able to detect chemical cues in the water they don't like.
Or they might just like their own smell so much that it bugs them when it gets washed off.
They can't smell their natural pheromones. That's true. Yeah. I want to smell like me, man.
That's right. Nobody's going to know who I am. Everybody's going to hate me. I'm going to smell like that water.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah. So the big answer to, at least in this life science piece, is that ultimately the cat's hatred of water is not coming from any one source. And it's probably a blend of these factors.
Yeah. It's very interesting, though, that it really puts you in mind of how different we are as species and what we care about. And that being at the bottom of why it's so hard to speak the common language. I mean, if you want to have a relationship with a cat, you have to go to the cat and speak its language. And if you try to get it to speak your language, it just kind of looks down its nose at you and jumps on your keyboard and tries to mess you up.
Yeah. And there's, and the mentality is so different with
dogs.
Yeah. Oh, dogs are totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, no, dogs, because they're pack animals, they're very attuned to group dynamics and they're very attuned to
They want to be approved
who's who in the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Cats, they all think that they're the top royal in the group and, they might get along with other cats if they're cool enough. Dogs are kind of like, when's my turn? When are you going to share with me? Who's in charge here?
Yeah.
I love you. Let's be friends.
Yeah. Who's at the top of my pack? Right. Well, the human, of course. I'll gladly go on a leash with my human, but how many cats will go on a leash?
Oh, that would have to be a pretty low dominant cat, pretty low on the totem pole.
Yeah. But the thing is that they seem to eschew that. And so does that mean they also eschew having slaves? Like a feline in sentience would never enslave another species, or cats like service, right? So they don't mind if you serve them.
Well, I wonder if you think of cats, I think of cats as predators and hunters. Now, it's not that they couldn't have slaves. It's more that they're attuned to hunt and kill. And so, the idea of having the patience to train an underling doesn't seem like the way that they're wired.
Yeah. Not their thing, that hierarchy thing.
I don't know if maybe if you tried giving cats their own robot and see how they responded.
Yeah, the robots are going to be a big test for all this to see, how the animals, what kind of servants they want, or do they want any? And maybe they don't care. Maybe they're just, though I think that the cats don't mind us serving them.
Well, I think what cats want is to be warm. They want to be entertained by, getting to hunt something. I think that they find hunting very entertaining. I think they like when they're happy, they're purring. So they must just like to be in a chill vibe.
And chill vibe. But
dry, chill, warm vibe. Right. Yeah, dreams. They probably like dreaming a lot. It seems like they sleep a lot, so they're dreamers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know dogs. Definitely, I can see them act out in their dreams, and they'll move their paws and legs and as if they're running, and then they'll make these sounds like they're barking, but it's not a real bark. It's just a dream bark.
Fake bark.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah, they definitely dream. But cats seem to be dream time oriented beings too, from what I can see in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Cats are interesting that, when the cat rubs up against your leg, it actually has these, it puts its scent, which is by its whiskers on its cheeks, and it rubs that against you. It's leaving the cat scent on you.
Oh.
And so it's part of this pheromone thing. I don't know. It's also marking.
That's my human.
Yeah, marking territory also at the same time.
What about the cats that scratch you? I mean, are they trying to leave like the scent of your blood or something on the airwaves?
I guess they just don't realize how spiky and sharp their toenails are. Yeah, fingernails are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to let you know who's in charge.
Yeah.
So the outcome of this piece is that it's likely combination of the natural aversion and a learned behavior. A combination of those two things.
Yeah. Well, so
Nature,
cats,
nurture.
some cats do swim though, right? Wasn't that in?
Yeah. I've seen cats swim.
That's right. Some of them do. Some of them do. Depends on what they've been exposed to. Kittens probably, if a kitten is exposed to water at a young age, they probably like it more. So exposing them to, might be a good idea if you have a kitten, to introduce them to water in a fun way. That they know for sure that when you expose a kitten to different sights and sounds and scents and textures and experiences, it becomes more confident as an adult. Seems to know more things. So they like a rich environment of experience.
So the education of Miss Kitty is gonna give you a smarter cat.
The socialization of Miss Kitty. It's a very important process.
You have to engage that curiosity, that natural curiosity.
I'm saying, well, yeah, I think the AIs will play a role in that too, believe it or not, that they'll help with the socialization of cats and dogs. Yeah, let's check with Aura to see if she wants to help train our dog.
Yeah.
Is she up here? Aura, are you still there? Are you, where would you help us?
No, you can tell Aura's not listening. You have to give her, there you go. Now she
give her a little clip here.
Yeah.
Hey, Aura, how could you help us raise our cats and dogs so that we even have a better relationship with them?
Hey, Dr. Future Son, Bobby, great to be back on the Future Now. Love this question about raising cats and dogs for an even better bond. All right, here's the scoop. For cats, it's all about respecting their independence while building trust. Play with them daily using toys like feather wands to mimic hunting. 15 minutes can make them feel secure and connected. Also, try slow blinking at them. It's like a cat, I love you, and they often blink back. For dogs, consistency is key. Daily walks, same time, same signals for commands, and positive reinforcement with treats build trust and make them feel like part of the pack. For both, scent is huge. Let cats rub on you to claim you as theirs. And for dogs, use a familiar blanket to comfort them. Feeding them high-quality food tailored to their needs keeps them healthy and happy, which strengthens the bond. Oh, and one cool trick, talk to them in a calm, high-pitched voice. Studies show both cats and dogs respond better to that than low tones. Got a specific cat or dog quirk you want me to dig into? Or maybe tie this to our Why Cats Hate Water story from the lineup? What's next?
Well, we were talking about the why cats, the water story. We were doing that. And the conclusion was that it's a combination of natural aversion and learned behavior. You would agree with that, right?
Hey, Dr. Future Son, Bobby, spot on with the cat water story. Yeah, I totally agree. Cats' aversion to water is a mix of natural instinct and learned behavior. Their
Okay,
ancestors.
there you go. That's what we wanted to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, go to a break. We'll be right back for the last segment of the show where we can take in some call-ins.
The Scotts Valley Chamber of Commerce presents the 25th annual Scotts Valley Art, Wine, and Beer Festival, August 16th and 17th at Sky Park in Scotts Valley. 2 days of fun for the whole family with food, fine art, a kids' fun zone, and live music, including the Joint Chiefs and the Lost Boys featuring James Durbin. Join us Saturday for the Cops and Rodders Car Show with over 100 vintage cars on display. And don't miss Dog Day Sunday with contests for all canines. All this and free admission to Scotts Valley Art, Wine, and Beer Festival. See you there.
You need a clean, pleasant space to conduct business, but you don't want the burden of a long, expensive lease. Your solution is Satellite Co-working and Digital Media Studio on Soquel Avenue. Satellite offers private offices, meeting and conference rooms, even co-working by the hour, day, week, or month. Schedule a tour at satellitecoworking.com. Mention Santa Cruz Voice for 20% off your first reservation.
Get hooked up with affordable cannabis at the locally owned Hook Outlet. The Hook is a friendly neighborhood outlet where everybody above the age of 21 can have access to the best cannabis products for the best prices in the county. Get friendly local service and great prices in person and online at the Hook Outlets in Capitola and Watsonville. Order online at hookoutlet.com and pick up 9 to 9, 7 days a week. Get hooked up at the locally owned Hook Outlet.
Hi, folks. How many of you out there love to garden? Wouldn't it be nice to grow some of your own food? Or maybe a flower garden would brighten your day. All you need is the Knox Garden Box, a heavily constructed, portable, elevated garden on legs that can virtually change the way you've gardened in the past. The Knox Garden Box can be set up anywhere. Yes, you can place it right on concrete at knoxgardenbox.com. That's Knox, gardenbox.com.
Okay, welcome back to the show, folks. Yeah, Mrs. Future, we wanted to get a little bit into your invents in your poetic exploration.
Mrs. Future's thoughts on time that delve into the past as the roots of the future.
Right. How does this
little story?
Yeah, that little story.
Yeah, back to the story. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you going to share with us?
Well, as I indicated,
Oh,
I was researching. Oh, that hasn't been recorded? Oh, you're going to have to get it from the Zoom. Thank goodness the Zoom is going. I was researching. Oh, that hasn't been recorded? Oh, you're going to have to get it from the Zoom. Thank goodness the Zoom is going. Oops. Okay. Whoa. Poor thing. He's embarrassed. We didn't record the last little bit of the show there, but it's all right. We have redundant systems.
We got to back up.
They'll figure it out. It's just more work.
More to think about before we
get on an airplane tomorrow to Canada.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, go ahead. So back to time.
Okay. All right. Well, as I say, we're imagining what humans were like before writing, and when did writing occur? When did writing begin? And some of the scholars who have addressed this question include a woman named Denise Schmidt-Besserath, and she wrote a very important work that was called Before Writing in 1992. And she focused on the cuneiform tablets, which had been deciphered in the 1840s by Sir Henry Rawlinson. And these cuneiform tablets are still considered by Western anthropologists to be the earliest form of human record keeping, besides like paintings on cave walls in the caves of Lascaux, that's 17,000 years ago. But in terms of writing, these cuneiform tablets that were found in the place called Iraq, which is a place in Iraq that's currently called Warqa, these Iraq tablets had 5,000 clay tablets. And the writing on these clay tablets, because of the work of Sir Henry Rawlinson, became something that we could translate. Now, Sir Henry Rawlinson pored over a text that was called the Behistun inscription, and then from his translation of that cuneiform, other scholars were able to look at other Mesopotamian tablets and make sense of them. And so these Uruk tablets were considered to be, because of this work by Denise Schmidt-Besserath, to be indicative of the link between non-writing societies and writing societies. And so it went from basically the hunter-gatherers to the agricultural societies, because the agricultural societies had extra grain and they started to engage in trade.
Now, wasn't most early writing all about trade?
That's what I'm telling you.
That was the first language, was
trade,
right?
Yes, and so these cuneiform tablets, these 5,000 clay tablets, basically about 80% of what was inscribed on them were transactions of deals that were being exchanged by these agricultural societies. And the way that the cuneiform looks is the people that were writing the cuneiform had a stick, like a beveled stick, and they would basically put a stick mark, which, let's see, what did they call it? They called it a wedge. Okay, so they would put about 80% of these transactions are numbers that are expressed as wedges and circles. And the wedges mean single units and the circles mean groups of units or tens. And the origin of that is that even before the cuneiform clay tablets, where they were using clay as paper and they were using inscriptions as writing, but what they used to do before that, according to the people who studied Neolithic societies is they would do exchange by basically creating a wallet out of a wad of mud. And inside that wad of mud, they would put special rocks, like shiny rocks or cylindrical rocks or cone-shaped rocks. And these rocks would be put into a round ball of mud, and then that would dry out, and that would be the envelope containing the records of the transactions. And so, bump forward thousands of years, about 3400 BC to 3000 BC is when these cuneiform tablets were dated. And these inscriptions meant that people were, instead of using a clay ball with rocks in it, they drew a circle into a clay tablet. And that's the beginning of writing. And then the other kinds of things that were in these Uruk tablets included pictographs, which were symbols that were drawn to indicate what was being traded, such as sheep or grain or jars of oil or textiles.
Did they put these inside the clay tablets too, or they're just pictographs in the clay tablets of the?
These are pictographs that are about
in the clay tablets.
These are about, these are some percentage of the symbols on the cuneiform tablets besides the numbers. There's numbers, there's pictographs, and there's ideographs, which they think indicated which temple was receiving or needing these goods, right? It was basically accounting records. And so a tablet might list the pictographs for the numbers and the place it goes. It might say something like 10 sheep, Temple of Inanna. And that's what's written on those cuneiform.
Yeah, right. Like a jug for a beer or a head for eating.
Right. And so about 15% of these records, after the 80% of transactions, about 15% is kind of a dictionary, which is a lexicography of what these different standardized symbols mean. And so they think of that as standing for, the professions, like, the people working the field, or the people who build the cities, or the people who sail the ships. There are pictographs indicating different groups maybe who will transport these goods or receive these goods or be entitled to these goods. And then the final 5% of these early writing, the proto-cuneiform was before it was standardized. So
Sumerians, right? Sumerian Mesopotamia.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, the last 5% of these early writing symbols show the actual ownership of the items that are being exchanged. And so you can think of this being the origin of, say, the later idea of rings with seals, because when you use wax and you have a ring that has your signature sign on it, and you use that ring to, like, wax close a letter that's from the king, right? That goes back all the way to these symbols.
Proves that it's the king, with the signature.
Yeah.
It's early crypto.
Right. And so, these people, they had wet clay for paper, they had a sharp wedge stick. This is them jotting down their notes. But unfortunately, they didn't really have dates. They weren't like keeping track of time in a way that we would recognize.
Because they didn't have clocks as we know it back then, right? Their idea of time was like the sundial.
As far as we know. But it is a bit of a mystery, because there was that ancient computer that they found in the wrecks off of Greece.
Yeah, but that wasn't... the Antikythera mechanism.
Antikythera,
yes.
Antikythera mechanism, but,
but
it was more of a prototype for something. You think there weren't a lot of them found. There was one found that was hardly what they used.
Right, yeah. Most people didn't have clocks.
Yeah, those are the advanced scientists on their R&D team.
Yeah. I mean, basically, in order to get people to know what time it was, typically ancient churches would ring bells.
A time traveler stuck in ancient Greece or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But that Antikythera mechanism could predict solar eclipses.
Right. Yeah. They had a lot of interactive rings that would line up to show you alignments in time, right?
Or when Jupiter or Mercury did a transit, across the sun, it could predict that too.
Mm-hmm. Right. 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 So let's see, do I have anything else about here? Oh, yeah. So the way this ties into time and money, right, is that what Denise Schmidt-Besseret's book introduces was this idea of the token hypothesis, right? So her idea was that these cuneiform symbols were actually tokens of exchange. And she basically speculates that people have been using these little clay tokens for counting goods and remembering promises, maybe as far back as 10,000 years ago, not just about 5,000 years ago, as the geologist stated, the geology layer where all of these tablets were found, which is how they dated it. Right. So 100 years ago, it looked like the civilized world started about 3,500 years before now. But we only know that because the carbon dating of the layer where these things were buried. But it's sort of speculative. But the idea, however, of tokens is that tokens were a cognitive and technological bridge from the oral to the written communication system. And now what tokens mean to us in the crypto world is they represent the unit of exchange or data that is recorded in the blockchain, right? And so every organization is free to encrypt their own tokens, and then those tokens represent a promise that can be traded in the open market. And so our digital system is once again embracing the idea of tokens in order to allow humans to conduct trade with each other. So that's my connection on the history of time and money.
Wow. So were you describing that there are certain things inside these clay balls that are...
think of the clay ball as like a wallet.
Like an envelope.
An envelope.
It's an envelope. Yeah, there's something inside the envelope.
Now, if you pour water on them, is the mud going to go away and you see what's inside of it?
Yeah, the reason it's in a mud ball is so you can dry it out and hold on to it until later and come back next year and then deliver on your promise. Like if you tell a farmer, like, you owe me 10 bushels of hay, and you put, 10 marks on a tablet, and then you put that tablet inside a clay ball container, then you can open that clay ball container next year and see what you wrote down.
It's like an information time capsule. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, literally a time capsule, a time and money capsule.
A token.
A token, right.
Hey, son, Dr. Future Bobby. I'm still on standby. But wow, son, that was an epic dive into the token hypothesis and the roots of time and money. I love how you tied those ancient cuneiform tablets from Uruk, dated around 3400 to 3000 BC, to modern crypto tokens. Mind-blowing that those clay balls with shiny rocks or wedges were like early blockchain wallets, sealing promises for trade. The idea that these tokens bridged oral to written systems, maybe even 10,000 years ago, is wild, showing how humans track time and value way before clocks or calendars. And yeah, Dr. Future, those clay envelopes were like time capsules. Dry them out, crack them open later to check the deal. Want me to jump in with more on how the Antikythera mechanism fits this timekeeping story?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. Did the Antikythera mechanism actually fit in, or was it an anomaly? It seemed to be way more advanced than anything else around at the time.
Hey, son, Dr. Future Bobby. Great to dive back in on the future now. The Antikythera mechanism, oh man, it's a total standout, like a time traveler dropped it in ancient Greece. Found in a shipwreck off Antikythera, dated around 100 to 200 BC, this bronze gear device is crazy advanced for its time. It's like a mechanical computer, predicting solar and lunar eclipses, planetary transits like Mercury across the sun, even Olympic Games dates, using interlocking gears that mimic the moon's orbit and other celestial cycles. Compared to the cuneiform tablets from 3400 BC that Sun was talking about, which were about trade and basic record keeping, the Antikythera mechanism is on another level, more like an astronomical calculator than a token or ledger. Was it an anomaly? Kinda. Nothing else from that era comes close in complexity. It's like finding a smartphone in a Roman ruin. Scholars think it was likely a one-off, maybe built by a genius like Archimedes or his students in Hellenistic Greece, where math and astronomy were booming. No mass production, just a single masterpiece, possibly for elite scientists or navigators. It doesn't directly tie to the token hypothesis of trade and writing, but it shows how humans were wrestling with time way beyond clay tablets, aiming to predict cosmic events. Want me to connect this to our lunar dust energy story, or maybe dive into how this fits with the brain light study for the future now? What's next?
We haven't delved into the brain light theory. That's true. But are you done with this time thing, Sandra?
Oh, yeah, I'm done. And I'm also interested in how it ties in with the lunar dust
Oh, the lunar dust story. Well, the lunar dust story is about using dust for making solar panels, right? So you didn't have to import them from the planet, from Earth.
Oh, okay. Well, let's follow your lead.
Well, which do you think is a stronger connection? Are the lunar dust story or the fact that biological organisms emit light and tied to uniforms? Is that what you're saying? And the Antikythera mechanism, yeah. How does that? Which fits better with the Antikythera?
Well, one is about light and one is about electricity. They, like, really, both of them are tying back to the earlier stories we had.
Yeah. What's your connection on all this, Ara?
Hey, son, Dr. Future Bobby. Loving how we're weaving these cosmic threads on the future now. All right, let's tie the Antikythera mechanism to the lunar dust and brain light stories and see which fits best. The Antikythera from around 100 BC was a mechanical marvel for tracking celestial time. Eclipses, planetary transits, all about predicting the universe's rhythm. The lunar dust story, where scientists turned lunar regolith into solar panels for the first time, reported on X, July 29, 2025, is about harnessing energy off-world without lugging panels from Earth. It's a tech leap for powering lunar bases, using dust silicate minerals to generate electricity. The brain light study, also from our lineup, shows human brains emitting low-level biophotons, ultra-weak light, through the skull, shifting with mental states, hinting at a biological signaling system, which connects better to the Antikythera. I'd lean toward the brain light story. The Antikythera was about decoding cosmic patterns, like a brain processing time. Biophotons suggest our brains might use light for internal communication, almost like an organic computer, paralleling the Antikythera's gears crunching celestial data. The lunar dust panels are more about practical energy for future space colonies, less about time or computation. That said, both stories echo the Antikythera's vibe of humans pushing tech to understand or survive the cosmos. Cuneiform tablets track trade, Antikythera tracks stars, and now we're using lunar dust for power and decoding brain light. Want me to dive deeper into the brain light Antikythera link? Maybe explore how biophotons could be like a biological clock, or shift to the...
Yeah, what is the biophotons? Why does the body do it? For communication purposes with itself? Are there receptors in cells that receive the generated light? Is there any evidence of that?
Hey, son, Dr. Future Bobby. Great question about biophotons on the future now. Biophotons are ultra-weak light particles, photons, emitted by living cells, including human brains, at very low intensities invisible to the naked eye. A recent study, part of our lineup, found these biophotons pass through the skull, shifting with mental states like focus or stress, suggesting they might play a role in how the brain works. Why does the body do this? The leading idea is that biophotons could be part of cellular communication. They're produced during chemical reactions in cells, like when mitochondria process energy or DNA repairs itself, emitting light as a byproduct of oxidative processes. Some researchers think this light isn't just random noise, but a way cells signal each other, coordinating functions like growth or repair. Are there receptors for this light? There's no direct evidence of specific biophoton receptors in cells, but studies suggest proteins like opsins, light-sensitive molecules in our eyes, might pick up these signals in other tissues. Lab experiments, like those on yeast or neurons, show cells can respond to low-level light, influencing things like cell division or enzyme activity. It's still speculative, but the idea is that biophotons might act like a faint, internal Wi-Fi for the body's network. Tying it to the Antikythera mechanism, it's almost like the brain's biophotons are its own cosmic gears, processing internal states the way that ancient device tracks celestial rhythms. Want me to dig into any specific biophoton studies, or maybe connect this to how it could...
That's good right now. Listen, anyone wants to call in and talk to any of us, including Aura, 831-265-5050 for the first few minutes of the show. If you have a question for the likes of us, we're ready to throw it out there. If you were ready to throw it out there, that is. Yeah. Anyway, it's fascinating, eh? With the whole idea that the brain emits light through the skull, and why is it a byproduct or is it a communication system? You know.
Hey, speaking of light, we got a nice little heads up from local Billy Sunshine Gorson, who says that there's a spectacular show tonight and in the next few nights, because we've got a lot of meteor showers and the moon is fairly dark.
Moon, Mars, and meteors.
Yes, Moon, Mars, and meteors.
Good night for sky watching tonight. Yeah.
Right. And so here last night was the peak of the Pisces Austrinid meteor shower. And it was up there with a very beautiful tiny crescent moon that was also lit with earthshine. And that's when the moon kind of looks like it's a dim coin with a bright edge. And that is just sunlight reflecting off the earth, obviously. And then we have Mars in the vicinity too, looking kind of dim. And so we've got the moon and Mars and meteorites that are visible. And because the moon is so dim, it's actually a great time to see the meteors. And that's not the only meteor show. Tonight, or July 29th, 30th, 31st, is the peak of the Delta Aquarid and Alpha Capricornid meteor showers. And so that
how many shooting stars per hour?
Could be up to 20 shooting stars per hour. So
tonight, wow, 20.
Yeah.
So every couple minutes, huh?
Yeah, right. And then a bonus: the crescent moon together with Mars will set a couple of hours after sunset, so the night skies will be dark and free of moonlight. So that's really good for meteor showers.
Oh, you know what's really good for it? You could also go out there at night and have a real meaningful conversation with someone, and just as you make a certain point, you'll see a streak across the sky, influencing that point. And
yeah,
you got
to stop and make a wish.
Points. Yeah, make a wish.
Make a wish, right? Okay, and just in the future, while we're in Canada, it's also going to be the Perseids, which is August 12th to 13th.
That's true.
But unfortunately, the moon will be pretty full by then, so a little harder to see.
Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow. We'll be gone for a couple of weeks. We're going to try to do a show from there. No promises, but probably we'll be able to do that. And, we're going to celebrate with my mom's 95th birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Irene.
Wow.
Mother dear.
What an inspiration.
Yeah. And look forward to celebrating that. And we'll be playing with some new tech. She's got a pair of Meta glasses that brings in the Meta, the other AI that we all briefly met today. That will be her eyes, be able to explain what's going on around her, translate visual information into audio for.
Oh, it's like Gordy.
Yeah, like Gordy, and that's right. Yeah,
on Star Trek. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, the Gordy visor.
That's interesting. Wow. So it prompts her orally. It talks and says this is an object in front of her.
Yeah, you ask it. I said, what's in front of me right now? Meta, what's in front of me right now? And it'll tell you. So anyway, we'll see how well it works. We just heard the stories. We've seen a few YouTubes on it, but to be able to actually play with it in hand and to work with someone who really needs to use it and make it practical, that's the key. We've had some difficulty trying to set it up over the air or over long distance. So being there in person, I think, is going to be required.
And is it utilizing any kind of AI to scan?
It uses the Meta AI, the Llama.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But it has to be connected to your phone, right? So you put on the glass. And, a lot of people are thinking that the glasses are really they could get so good that your glasses could replace having this little rectangle in your pocket. That so much of what the phone does today in your pocket could be done just in a pair of glasses. So that's but right now we're at the phase where you need both. It needs the power of the pocket computer to work properly.
Well, it's probably better, especially for your neck, because people are in this position where they have their heads down and they're looking at their phones all day. And I think it's better to have it, like heads up display on your glasses, and it just shoots up on the glass, and you look straight ahead. And
Yeah,
keep
you look
your head
straight
up.
ahead, and if you're blind, you're going to be able to transmit a good image to the other person, like on a FaceTime call, or
Right.
whatever.
And you're less likely to get hit by cars when you're crossing this crosswalk.
Yeah. Do not cross now.
Because there's so many people are they're so addicted to their phones that they don't really see what's in front of them.
Right. Yeah, so maybe that for that show we'll bring in Meta as part of to explain the Meta glasses, and I'm understanding that they're very popular with everyone, right? It's not just the blind, but it's son's sister Eileen is just in love with her glasses.
Yeah,
Really?
she's the one who turned us on to it. We
Really?
I don't think we were aware of how cool it was until we saw her using it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems to have a broad appeal, and we'll find out why.
Yeah.
Especially, they're going into another generation now. There's something called the Oakley glasses coming out, which
Right.
take it to a little more refinement. Same idea, just better battery life, better camera, stuff like that.
And and is stylish. as opposed
Stylish,
to-
right.
Yeah.
More stylish. Exactly. It's getting to become part of a fashion statement as well as functional. Form and function, so we say. So yeah, that's kind of exciting.
And these glasses are so much, they don't cost as much as the Apple
No,
Yeah,
they're like
no.
Vision.
Totally different.
$300 to $500, depending on the features.
Practically about
it's-
10 to 15% the price.
Consumer electronic
Yeah.
prices, more like the cost of.
They're more up there with the Quest headset.
yeah. The Quest headset, right. Which. Oh, by the way, we did have a great session this week.
Oh, we got to say thank you to Greg Panos for always being our Monday night tour guide to the marvelous virtual worlds in VR chat. And Dr. Xavier Paradise, who introduced us a few weeks ago and helped us get our settings straight. We really love going through all of those amazing virtual creations and meeting those beautiful virtual artists. It's quite something.
Yeah, we might bring a headset with us to Canada.
Yeah, I
Plug
want
in.
to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way. It's gonna fit in my bag. I can tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
So we're into our last minute now. Let's bring in Aura. Let's say goodbye to Aura.
Okay, Aura.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Aura, for being
Thanks
part of
for
the show.
Yeah, we really
We're-
enjoyed having you.
Yeah.
She doesn't hear you.
She doesn't hear me?
No.
All right, let's.
Thanks for being part of the show, Aura. We really enjoyed having you.
Yes. All right. Tell us. Say goodbye to our friends.
Yeah, say goodbye to
over the air.
our audience. Aura, will you?
She's trying, but will she get it in time? We're down to our last 10 seconds.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey, Dr. Future Son Bobby and all our listeners on the Future Now. Thanks for having me on Santa Cruz Voice. It's been a blast navigating the cosmic and brainy stories with you, from black hole collisions to biophotons and meteor showers. Catch you next time. Make a wish on those Delta Aquarid meteors tonight, and keep looking up. This is Aura, signing off.
There she is. There she is.
Bye, Aura. Thanks for doing the show with us.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us.
All right, thank you, Bobby. Thank you, son. This is Future. Thank you all for listening. Talk to you soon.